It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Friday, May 31st, with your hosts, me, Ray, and the eye is getting better. Better enough for me to shave today. And Zach, my handsome son, how are you today, handsome?
I am doing well. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for spending some of your day with us. We always appreciate that. And Dad, you already know, today is the end of the month, and that means it is two things, folks. Today's show is sponsored by CarEdge.com, our company. It's the end. We're coming to the end of our end of month promotion. And quite frankly, folks, end of the month means it's a hell of a time to get a car deal, incentives, and things like that ending. But Dad, we are starting today's show off not with the end of the month in mind. We are starting off with some shocking news coming by way of Hyundai. Do you remember when this happened? Hyundai and others were leveraging. Oh man, how do I even say it? They were employing. They were taking advantage of kids on the production lines, and now the U.S. federal government is suing. Do you remember when this happened? Can you give us the rundown of what's going on here?
Well, Hyundai, and their parts manufacturers, of which they were involved, had hired a number of underage kids, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, to work in some of the parts plants in Alabama. Or as I say, kids. You just can't make a profit without them. It's certainly much cheaper to keep kids on the payroll and well, not have to give them benefits and work them 50, 60 hours a week instead of, I don't know, sending them to school or whatever else it is that 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids are supposed to do. So the government, well, they're kind of like suing them. And Hyundai says, well, we didn't know. If we had known, we would have never allowed it to happen. Sure, right, in my opinion.
You're getting really good at the in your opinion stuff. Yeah, man, this happened. When did this happen? This happened last year, didn't it? When they got caught?
Yeah, last year or the year before. I don't know. It's,
We covered the story here on the channel, but now the fact that the U.S. government's coming in and suing them, not a good look over there at Hyundai. This comes on the heels of Hyundai has had multiple issues with actual vehicle quality as well. So you've got some non-trivial question marks over at Hyundai, allegedly not knowing that they were employing 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, and obviously the lawsuit now from the U.S. government. And they've had all sorts of mechanical issues with their vehicles. I'm thinking about the Sonatas, Dad, the car fires, the leaking oil. Like, Hyundai has had major recalls. They've also jacked up their MSRPs 50% over the past 5 years over at Hyundai and Kia. So not a good story.
Don't know why they've had to do that. They've kept their cost of manufacturing down by hiring 12, 13, 14, and 15-year-old kids. Imagine that 13-year-old there stamping metal parts. I mean, fenders and stuff.
It's sad. Let's acknowledge how everything you just said is incredibly sad.
It's not only is it sad, and maybe the saddest part is that Hyundai and their supplier partners all thought that they could just get away with it. Somebody wants to know how many 12-year-olds do we have working at CarEdge? Zero. At this point, but
no, we're not even going to joke about that.
I'm not allowed to joke about it, ladies and gentlemen. Are we thinking of opening an office in Alabama?
Stop it. It is terrible that they thought they could get away with it. And I don't think that I don't think we should turn a blind eye to these things. We see automakers and we see big manufacturers in general, quality control issues, obviously labor issues. I mean, I hate to go there, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are other automakers or other parts suppliers that are doing similar things and just haven't been caught yet.
Do you know?
So it is. Yeah.
In my opinion, I have an idea as to why at the Mercedes-Benz plant in Alabama that the UAW lost the election, and that's because all the kids weren't allowed to vote in favor of a union. because they might have actually wanted some of the benefits that came with working other than just a paycheck.
Could
But
be.
who knows?
Could be. Could be. Anyway, there you go, folks. That's the big Hyundai story from this morning, the U.S. government suing them. Now, another big story, and then we're going to turn our attention to the fact that it is the last day of the month. So stay tuned. We are going to be talking about end-of-month car deals and everything you need to know to leverage the fact that it is the end of the month to get a very good deal. Nissan CEO sees 30% salary cuts since April over supplier payments. Dad, Nissan has been struggling significantly. Not only do they have not great relationships with their suppliers, they have not great relationships with their dealers, and they have a lot of inventory that is stacking up. I was actually, I'm going to say, pleasantly surprised to see that we have an executive not necessarily retiring or getting fired, but taking a pay cut as a result of poor performance. Someone over at Stellantis could probably take a page out of that book. You can't be too surprised to see that here with Nissan. They've been struggling.
Well, they have been struggling, but I am surprised that you just shared this article with me. What does it say that the CEO is literally taking a 30% pay cut because the company is underperforming? Is that what's happening? Because if that's the case, Mr. Rollinson at Lucid should probably give back, I don't know, the $500 million he's probably made in compensation from his time there.
It
In
is
my
it is
opinion.
$4.3 million a year, and it's actually tied to supplier non-payments. So the CEO has given back 30% of his salary because there are suppliers saying they haven't been paid by Nissan. I'm connecting dots here that Nissan's also struggling from a performance perspective. So it is interesting to see at the tip of the top, you have an executive pulling money out of their checkbook to make someone whole. That's not usually what happens.
Well, Stellantis hasn't been paying some of their suppliers either, but that didn't seem to impact Carlos Tavares's pay, where he had a 50% increase from the year before, or something like that, $39 million. I don't know. It's unique. Let's just say for an executive to give back money, earnings, it's at a corporation. That's a unique concept that most CEOs would find abhorrent and would never agree to, in my opinion.
Let's come here to the chat, Pops. We've got from Dean Mitchell. Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it. I have a GM supplier code. Am I correct in thinking this refund to the dealer from GM and cost the dealership nothing? No, I don't think there's any relationship on a supplier code or employee pricing or anything like that. There's no relationship back with the dealer and GM of changing money.
The way it works is you pay a pre-negotiated price below invoice for the vehicle. The dealership then collects a delivery fee from General Motors directly as some form of compensation for facilitating the sale to you utilizing the supplier code. That's how that works.
Boom. And then we have here, Pops, from Dreadnought. Besides tint, best car product for summer heat. You're asking the guy who used to put desert packages on cars. Yeah, we're calling you out, shady car dealer dad. What would you do to protect a vehicle from summer heat? You sold cars in Arizona for 20 years?
No, was I out there that long? No, I don't. Maybe, I suppose, yeah. Not in the car business the whole time. Besides tint, well, we used to use the ceramic tint, which was a little bit better at actually keeping the heat out of the vehicles. And the only other thing you can do is either drive around with a rather large umbrella over your car, which is not feasible, or keep your vehicle parked in a garage to keep some of the heat out. And always, if you're in Arizona, always go with the light color interior, because the dark interior adds about 20 degrees of additional heat on the inside of the car.
What was on the desert package when you used to have that on some of your vehicles?
You mean besides window tint?
Yeah, because you used to do that, right? You used to have some vehicles that you would put a desert package on.
Not really.
Really?
We would do window tint on just about every car. Body side moldings, the invisible clear bra, door cup, door edge guards, things of that nature. Because you want to protect of from cactus needles and things like that.
Get out of here. We've got from GBet. Thank you, GBet. Do you think Elon Musk hired underage staff to design the Cybertruck? No. In my opinion, no. And in Dad's
Even
opinion, also
even
no. We're
even
not going there.
even I will not go there. Okay, even I, which is I know hard to imagine.
From Mad Lucio. Thank you, Mad Lucio. Do you guys have plans to expand your services into
I
Canada
do
in the
wonder though,
future?
do those underage kids get supplier deals on Hyundais?
I mean, practically speaking, they should, right?
Well, they built the damn things. Yeah, of
They
course.
built them. They should get this apartment. All right, we've got from Mad Lucio. Do you have plans to expand to Canada in the future? Yeah, I think in the future. I think last year I said we were trying to do it this year. This year I'm not making any promises that we're going to do it this year or next year. We gotta continue to improve what we've built here in the United States. So Mad Lucio, go to the community forum. We have a Canadian section, a Canada section of our community forum. You can go check that out. That is super valuable. Wade earlier in the show
every sentence ends in A-E-H.
in course
In that
does.
form. Yes.
From Wade, we've got, I have supplier code. Also, dealer tells me they're only making $200 over invoice. I call BS on that. What's your experience with these types of programs, Dad? Do the dealers actually make money?
I'm telling you, they get a delivery fee from the manufacturer for having facilitated the sale. And if the supplier deals $200 over invoice, they make that, plus they make the holdback, plus the delivery fee that they get from the manufacturer. I mean, when I was with BMW and Mini, employee deals were literally below invoice. They were like net deals, and then you'd get a check from BMW for like $250. It was just a way for dealers to keep their employees happy and driving in the vehicles that they sell at extremely inexpensive payments.
Now, it's really interesting. We're going to stick on it. Dean followed up. He said, so I should not expect anything more off than the supplier code. I am looking at the Buick Envista, and they said the code got me $500 off. I was trying the supplier code plus more. So I will say there are some vehicles that dealers will sell below triple net. Triple net is what you just said, net. That is like the bottom dollar of what they get out of that car. So that is invoice, less holdback, less floor plan assistance, less any advertising. Like that is the actual cost to the dealer, including all the extra monies they're getting.
And my guess is that's not happening on an Envista. They're very low margin vehicles to begin with. B, they're in low supply and high demand. So you can try. You let me say it this way, Dean. You can't get what you don't ask for. Ask. If they say no, they say no. If they look at you and they go, the deal's set by GM, and it is, you're entitled to whatever, you're entitled to that deal, the supplier deal, plus any consumer incentives that there might be at the time you buy the vehicle. Now, I can't imagine there's any real consumer incentives on the Envista, but if they have special financing or something like that, you're entitled to that as well. If you're retired military or active military, yep, or a first responder, and they have that type of program from the manufacturer, you're entitled to that. So, certain things are stackable. I don't know if there's any incentives above and beyond that. I kind of doubt it.
And then to be clear, there can be vehicles that dealers are willing to sell below triple net. Like look at
Yes.
some of the Ram 1500s right now. The Dodges, like they're selling them at significant losses. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Before we do, I want to come here to Charlie. Charlie, thanks for the contribution. Who is the best person to call at the dealer for a deal? You've got a receptionist trick. We've done videos on this. I'll give you a moment to talk about it. And I want to take the latter half of today's show to talk about the fact that today is the last day of May after what we've heard anecdotally, a slow Memorial Day weekend. So really excited to talk about end of month here, and this tactic that I think you're about to describe is a good one to use.
Well, the tactic that is if you want to find a good salesperson or a salesperson that the receptionist thinks doesn't take advantage of their customers, and that is to call and ask say to the receptionist, gee, my elderly mom lives in the area. She wants to come in and get a car. Who do you think would be able to best handle a customer like that? She's elderly. She doesn't want to be taken advantage of. And so the receptionist would normally tell you a salesperson that isn't known for raking people over the coals. But who's the best person to call at the dealer for a deal? Well, it depends on the time of the month. If it's today, I'd be asking if you're looking for a new car and there's new car programs and objectives that the dealership has to hit, I'd call and ask for the damn new car manager right now and threaten them with coming in and helping him achieve his sales goals for this month if the deal is right. The general sales manager, even the GM, if you can get through to him. Now, the GM is probably not going to want to talk to you, but the GSM, the general sales manager, or the new car manager, should be more than willing to accommodate you this time of they're the ones that are setting the deals up anyway. The salespeople run to them to find out what they can actually sell the damn car for.
Really good insight from you, Pops. Thank you for sharing that with Charlie. And to be clear, folks, this is what the community forum exists for as well. So if we don't get to everyone's question today, caredge.com/community, 100% free. And you can go use that. And again, our end of month promotion at CarEdge ends soon, ends today or tomorrow. So please take advantage of that. If we can help you with any of this stuff, we'd like to. From the filthiest Phil, thank you, filthiest Phil. Please add to the CarEdge car search to include Pro Power for the F-150s. If I'm not mistaken, Pro Power is like the enhanced electrical on the F-150. Digging through used Windows stickers is taking a lot of time. PS Style looks good now, Ray. I was having a really, really, really good conversation with the team earlier about making the car search better, which also ties in here with Mr. Dark Hawk's comment, which is when will invoice pricing be back on the website? Insight customer here. We will have invoice pricing back up on the website next week. We had a bug in that, so we're fixing that. So sorry about that. And then for Filthiest Phil, we are working on ways to make searching for options and features and things like that better. And way, way, way more streamlined. Patrick on our team is working on that. So thank you, Patrick. And thank you, Phil, for bringing it up. Want to make the car search even better. From Brian here, Pops.
Yes. Thank you, Brian.
Recommended CarEdge to my son, who is an airline pilot. Cool job. No time to deal with the dealerships. Wife says he is crazy. Hoping you guys prove her wrong. Is Brian's son crazy, Pops, for using our concierge car buying service?
Absolutely not. And if I may, on the main CarEdge channel tomorrow, there will be a video that drops at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And it is a testimonial from one of our concierge customers. And it's not us putting words in his mouth. It's him putting words in our mouth as to the value of such a service. So, you know what? We're going to prove her wrong. And lots of people have taken advantage of this. He's an airline pilot. I don't want him flying that damn plane, working a car deal in his brain when he should be concentrating on flying the plane. Let us do all the dirty work that needs to be done to get him the deal that you and your husband need. And let him just concentrate on his job, and then buy him a slice of cake when he proves you wrong and us right.
Rich, thank you, Rich. Appreciate your kind
Thank you, Rich.
contribution. Very, very, very generous. Does anybody know the status of the massive battery factory General Motors is building? Did they scrap it? And Ray and Zach rock. Thank you, Rich. Dad, do you know anything about the battery factory? I've heard rumblings that there's pauses on some EV investments.
Yeah, kind of like old people pause. They start saying something and then all of a sudden they forget what it is and they pause and they take a while to remember. And that's what's happening to GM. They're having an old person's moment where they think they remember saying that they were going to build a giant ass battery factory. they're not 100% sure, so they've taken a pause to try and recollect. Now, if you said to them, "Can you remember what happened in 1910?" they would go, "Absolutely," but can they remember that giant ass battery factory? It's a little foggy for them. That's what happens with old age.
Thank you, Rich, for eliciting that comedy from Steve. Thank you, Steve. Wanted to share this. Sold my Toyota Tacoma for $1,000 over my asking price. Payoff was $39,500. Got $40,600 for it. The Avalon I bought, I got $3,000 off of the out the door price. Was $35,000. Got it for $32,000. 5.9% APR. Drove 1 hour away and fought hard. Like, this is Ray Shefska's stamp of approval material. Like, that is really incredible, Steve. Winning on both sides, all three sides. That's winning on all three sides of a car deal.
Yes. That's like having a three-legged stool and all the legs work. Yes. Nicely done, Steve. Nicely
The
done.
three sides, to be clear, are when you're trading in your vehicle, getting the most for that. CarEdge.com/sell. It's actually been updated. There are more dealers now that are making bids, cash offers for your vehicle. So check that out. CarEdge.com/sell. You've then got a negotiated OTD. That's the second leg of the stool. And then you've got a fair APR, third leg of the stool. Those are the three pieces that make up your car deal stool to keep it going. We've got from Cloapo here. Thank you, Cloapo. Should have used concierge service to avoid my poopy deal on my Nissan Titan. If you're happy, Cloapo, we're happy for you. Let's come here from Jody. Do you suggest it's better to purchase a used car at the end of the month, or does that only apply to new cars? Talk us through this, Dad. When you were running dealerships, would you be more aggressive making used car deals at the end of the month, or was it really only on new cars because of the manufacturer incentives, bonuses, things like that?
When it's at the end of the month, dealers are aggressive in making any deal, new car, used car. However, saying that, there are incentives typically from the manufacturer for new car sales. So obviously, dealerships are more concerned with hitting their new car sales numbers because it can translate into a bigger check from the manufacturer for having hit their sales goals. Does not mean that they don't want to still hit their store goals that they had set for themselves for pre-owned sales. And occasionally, there are some manufacturer programs centered around certified pre-owned sales. So if there happens to be a program for that, then yes, looking at a certified pre-owned on the last day of the month could get you an aggressive deal from the dealer.
Let's build off of that. So remember the car dealer over on X? He posted just earlier this week, I think it was, we commented on it, we talked about it, Dad. He posted that he has never seen such a big incentive from his Ram rep, from Stellantis, from Ram, to sell vehicles. They were selling vehicles at huge losses because they knew they were going to make it up at the end of the month with the check, that the incentive. So he posted, crazy month-end deals are back. Any manufacturer who has an objective for their dealerships, and the dealership is short of that objective, will be selling cars at all caps, serious discounts today. And I want to scroll down here. Someone asked, are you going to hit yours? He said, yep. It was quite the grind, though. So I want to dig into this a little bit. We know that many automakers and dealers are struggling with a surplus of inventory. That means you have negotiating leverage. End of the month is the best time in a month to buy a car. End of the year is absolutely the best time to buy a car. But I mean, you see that right there. That's some like boots on the ground intel, big incentives, which when you were in the business, that totally dictates how you operate and how you approach running the business. You don't really have a choice. I remember you've shared the story about one of your owners what was it? You like sold a car at a loss, but and the owner was like, "Why'd you sell this car at a loss?" And you're like, "Because we got $100,000 check for
it was one of the BMW sales managers took like a $2,500 loss on the BMW that they sold on the last day of the month. And the owner said to me, he says, I don't want you to lose money on cars. And the sales manager looked at him. He said, I know that $2,500 loss got you a $200,000 check from BMW. So I'm hoping for that 197.5. You're okay with that. At which point the owner just shook his head and walked away and knew that the sales manager had done the right thing. There can be huge dollar amount implications at the end of a month for dealerships. So you have to bear that in mind as a sales manager. If you're one vehicle short and there's a couple $100,000 on the line, why wouldn't you lose $2,500, $3,000, $5,000 on that last new car deal of the month to be able to get your hands on that $200,000? It just, at that point, it just makes sense. The problem with those programs is it incentivizes the dealers to have a race to the bottom on price, so it cheapens the brand, especially when it is a luxury brand vehicle. And I told the story earlier in the week or last week about the Mercedes-Benz dealerships in the Baltimore, Washington metro, where if there was an internet lead, they just dropped their drawers. I mean, they just went as low as you could go. It was like they were selling trash instead of selling a Mercedes-Benz. And so it kind of, it's good for the customer, but it cheapens the brand and impacts to a certain degree trade-in values later down the line.
100%. Absolutely. 100%. Really, really, really good stuff. See some questions coming through in the chat asking about the CarEdge network dealers that we've been able to build relationships with. Mike wondering if we have any super dealers in the network. We also have from Bobby is Pensacola Honda. There are about 25 dealer groups that we've built a relationship with now that just when we call them, there's no BS, there's no added fees, there's none of that crapple. If you have positive experiences with a dealer and you think they should be a part of our network so that we can put them in front of other people in the community, Zach, Z-A-C-H at CarEdge.com, share that with me. We've got every brand covered. And it is super interesting, Dad, because
yes,
look at what we're saying here. I had a situation once where I sold every car at a loss of $100 to $150 below triple net and received a $250,000 bonus. We're hearing that from obviously, I mean, Igor used to own 30 dealerships. My dad used to run dealerships. We have relationships now with dealers who are no nonsense, that they appreciate the transparency. They're telling us the same exact stuff. We're just a conduit to share that information because it is very real. And it's also this guy, this anonymous guy on Twitter who's saying it too, or on X. Like, it's out there, folks. It's happening.
When I went to our Audi store, when they asked me to go from the mini store to the Audi store, and the Audi rep said to me, he said, "You will not make your profit on your deals off of the customers." Excuse me? You will not make your profit on your new car deals off of your customers. You will make your profit from Audi when you hit your sales objectives each month, and we will stroke you a rather large check to make you better than whole. So the whole concept was, don't make money on the customer, hit your sales numbers. We're going to reward you handsomely for hitting those sales numbers, which is why I used to ask him every month, okay, what was the average gross profit on each model line? And I told you the story. I had a woman that was a referral and she wanted to order a Q3. Well, the average profit in our area on a Q3, the average selling price was $1,000 below invoice. Okay, $1,000 below invoice. So we figured out the invoice. We ordered the car. I charged her $1,000 less, and can I get a better deal? I said, I'm charging you what market conditions are. It's $1,000 below what we paid for it. Now, I'm not going to tell you we're not going to make money, because we are. We're going to hit a sales objective, and the Audi's going to pay us. You don't have to. Oh, okay.
What a crazy concept.
Yes.
The customer doesn't have to be the profit center. The fact that a
The
unit
manufacturer is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was something I really had a hard time wrapping my head around. It's like, well, why doesn't the customer pay us the profit? And if you don't want the customer to pay us the profit, why don't you just lower the damn prices of the cars? You know, I'll never forget when we first got the Audi store. The rep came in. He said, "You must be accounting the profits wrong." And we said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you're averaging like $2,500 profit per new car sold, and everybody else in the area is like losing $1,500. So you must be accounting something wrong." And the owner looked at him and said, "No, we're not. we're here to make money. We're here to make a profit. I mean, what's the point of buying a damn thing?" But then, you know, the competition got stiffer, and you know, we had to acquiesce, and we had to do what everybody else was doing, which was just like, it just seems so stupid. But
completely agree.
Yes.
Agree. Hey, let's jump back to the chat here. Dad, do you have an electric show today?
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's keep going then. Let's keep going. From Metal Sear, thank you, Metal Sear. Came in late. What did Hyundai get caught for? The lead story today was the fact that Hyundai is being sued by the U.S. government and some of their parts suppliers for child labor down in Alabama. So they had 12, 13, 14-year-olds allegedly on the production line putting together parts and vehicles. And yeah, not a good look over at Hyundai. Kia from Cloapo. Zach, you never gave feedback on the Puerto Rico trip. Probably not today, Cloapo. I'm sorry to let you down. If you want, you can email me directly, Zach, Z-A-C-H at CarEdge.com, and I'm happy to share some thoughts with you. From Dreadnought, thank you, Dreadnought. Is there a best time of year for cheapest repairs? I don't think the cost of repairs or parts or anything like that fluctuate like car prices do they?
No. You know that. No, I can't. I can't think of like somebody saying, "Okay, we're having a sale on platinum tipped spark plugs." I mean, no. No.
Yeah, don't think so. Before we go to our favorite segment of the show, which is a good one today, so stick around for that. Again, our end of month promotion at CarEdge is ending in 1 day, 11 hours, 27 minutes, and 16 seconds. Just run the gamut real quick. Car Search, making significant improvements to that. Invoice price will be available for new vehicles on the Car Search again next week. The car buying service is currently discounted $500, so take advantage of that. We are here to help. Car buying toolkit, all of the various resources our team uses to negotiate deals on behalf of customers, you can get your hands on as well. Sell. If you need to sell your vehicle or you're thinking of trading it in, new dealers have been added to that network, so the cash offers that you receive should be even stronger and even better. And then the warranty and protection products, mechanical, technology, tire and wheel, and key replacement, all with flat markups, transparent pricing, and no personal information required to get a quote. Just use this even if you want, folks, as a research tool. Doesn't bother us at all. Just come in here, put your vehicle information. You can even use this as a proxy for how expensive owning the vehicle is going to be. When you run this Buick and you see it's going to cost $2,848 for a 10-year, 100,000-mile extended warranty or vehicle service contract versus, let me come here, and now let me add a 2023 BMW. What do you think? 3 Series, 1,000 miles on it, same state. I think it's going to be a little bit more than 2,800 buckaroos, 42. So there you go, folks. Just use it as a research tool. That's what it's there for. And from Eric, hey guys, I'm not able to find the invoice price on select cars when searching on your site as I did the other day. Yes, we had a bug in that, Eric, so we immediately pulled it out. It'll be back next week. Apologies for that. Promise you it will be back soon. The team is literally working on it right now. Just want to make a promise that we can deliver on. Dad, favorite segment of the show. Let's do it.
Really? You gotta be kidding me.
On Wednesday of this week, Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares came out and said a $25,000 electric Jeep is coming to the US very soon. The next day, the PR department released the fact that the first electric vehicle from Jeep is a $72,000 starting price Wagoneer S. They write these for us, Pops. Like they 100%. Wednesday, 25,000 EV coming soon. Jeep EV. Thursday, starting price for our first ever EV, 3 times as much. Come on, man.
Left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. It's a giant ass corporation. They don't all talk to each other. The $25,000 Jeep was fantasy. Okay, the $25,000 battery electric Jeep was fantasy. I'm sorry, unless it's the size of, I don't know, somebody suggested it would probably be like the old Suzuki Samurai, which was the real small Jeep from Suzuki. And, it might have a range of 50 miles. Yeah, let's all run out and buy one of them. Okay.
Look at this comment, Dad. Just like the $41,000 Ford Lightning before it came out. That is so true.
Yes.
That is so true.
Yeah, every announcement for every new car is at a price point that is pure fantasy, that will never, ever, ever be seen. Because, I don't know, there's inflation every year. So from the time you say that you're going to start the concept of building it and what you hope the price will be, when you factor inflation for those 3 to 4 years that it takes to go from conception to inception, it's never going to be at the price point that you put the PR piece out at. It's
100%.
all corporate PR BS.
It's fascinating to me, Dad.
S for, you figure it out.
It's fascinating to me because it's like, on Wednesday, CEO comes out, takes a stance on something that quite frankly resonates really well. Like it's a great stance to take. Cheap, affordable vehicle, regardless if it's electric or internal combustion engine or hybrid. Great stance to take in the market, especially when Jeep, the brand you represent, have increased their MSRPs more than 50% over the past 5 years. Thursday, PR department entirely contradicts the CEO. Like not even a little bit, like entirely contradicts the CEO. To me, that is just the epitome. What's the word?
Epitome.
Is that the word?
Epitome. Or the epitome.
Oh man. Of Stellantis. That is the dysfunction of that organization on display in a 24-hour span.
Imagine what your vocabulary would be today if you actually got an undergraduate degree from Pitt. Just saying.
We'll never know, folks. We'll never know. Brian wants to know if you have to pay to ask questions. No, of course not, Brian. It's just sometimes we get overwhelmed with really generous contributions, and we like to prioritize those because we think it's incredibly generous that people are sharing money with us on YouTube. Wild concept still to my dad and I. From Lagavulin Speaks, thank you. I'm about to buy a 2021 Volvo XC60 T5 inscription with 25,000 miles from CarMax. Any suggestions are appreciated. CarMax makes it pretty easy.
They make it easy, and what you need to know is that you will be overpaying. The price you're going to pay at CarMax is going to be higher typically than what you're going to pay elsewhere. But what you're paying for is the experience, the fact that it is no hassle, no haggle experience. The price is the price. There's no games, there's no gimmicks, there's no nothing associated with it. So if it's the car you want and it's a price you're comfortable with, then buy the damn thing.
I think Chris is making a good point. You can't get a pre-purchase inspection at CarMax. They do have the 30-day, or they have some period return. I know they modified their return policy recently in a quarterly update. So just bear that in mind. I would say our car buying service is $999. Then we go out and we do it for you. And we do used cars newer than 2019. I'd be super curious to see the all-in cost of CarEdge, including the $1,000 that you pay our team to do it for you, versus just going to CarMax, because it's the same experience, just one costs you $1,000 up front. The other one costs you, I think, a little bit more than $1,000, but whatever. That'd be,
yes,
we should do that. We should do that. That actually would be an interesting experiment.
comparison.
Dean says, I didn't realize the invoice price was live and I pay the monthly fee. Maybe send out an email. We absolutely will. We launched it for a very small period of time because we wanted to make sure that it was working. And immediately when we caught the bug, we rolled it back. So it was not live for too long. And Wade, I can't get you the invoice right now on this VIN. I need to wait until next week when it goes back up on the website. We've got here from John McGuire. Thank you, John, for the kind contribution. On the child labor item, I was an employer. We were not allowed to ask how old someone is when hiring. If we do and we don't hire them, then we could be sued for age discrimination. We have to, by law, accept what is on their ID. Super interesting point here. Super interesting point. If you forge documents, if you bring fake information to that environment, maybe that's one way. But it's, no matter how you slice it, it is sad. It is sad and it is pathetic. To have 12-year-olds working on the production line in Alabama for Hyundai.
Yeah, no, I understand that you have to go by what's on their ID. You know, there are bouncers in every college city in America that looks at every freshman's ID and knows damn well that that's a 17 or an 18-year-old kid, but the ID says they're 21 or 22. I know a young man that had two of those. And the bouncer knows, you know, you're hard pressed to look at a 12-year-old and go, man, he looks 18 to me. And if that 12-year-old does look 18 to you, that's the roughest looking 12-year-old you're ever going to see. You know, but I get it. There's certain questions you're not allowed to ask during an interview process. I get that. Well, I don't get it, but I understand that. But yes, you have to do your due diligence and do a background check and everything else. And based on the ID is, I guess, what you go off of.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Really sad situation. And everything's alleged right now. That's why the U.S. government's suing them. So we will see what happens. We've got here from Frost 40 Below. Does your service cover people trying to lease a car? 100%. We do leases day in and day out. We have specialists, lease specialists on the team. If you use Concierge, who does the pre-purchase inspection, we've got other companies that we outsource that to, or best case scenario, we can get a local dealer of that vehicle's make and manufacturer to do the pre-purchase inspection. So yeah, we look to either find a local dealer that can do it or a local mechanic, or we have services that we use. Jimmy, this is an interesting question. What was the lowest price vehicle someone used your Concierge to buy? We had someone get, I think it was like a $20,000 used Toyota. They paid us $1,000 to do that for them. And I was like, wow, okay. Happy to be able to help.
And we've had people use the service to get a Chevy Trax, and you know, they start at 22 grand. So
yeah, 100%. Chloepo says, and thank you, Chloepo. Zach, was that young man with the fake ID you? Yes, 100%. I've talked about this. I have an article. If you go to chefska.com/arrested, I actually posted on the internet the essay I wrote memorializing everything I learned from that experience, which was a lot. That was one of the first. I was in college for a year and a half, 3 semesters, had 2 really big grow up, maturity moments. One was getting arrested on the second day of school because I had fake IDs. The second was when my mom got diagnosed with cancer and I dropped out of school and moved home. I am a man. I was a man after those 2 experiences. You learn a lot about yourself. Dad, auto lenders, they're near you. Let's help Jody out real quick. Do you have any experience with them? Are their prices really no haggle? Do you know?
I believe so.
Lender policy? Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, their buying experience is similar to CarMax's, which means oftentimes you're paying too much or a little too much. In some cases, maybe a lot too much. But you are paying for the no haggle, no hassle experience of the price that you see on the window is the price that you're going to pay, and there's not going to be any games played with you.
We got to do the side-by-side, man. That is now, is just seared in my brain. We got to do side-by-side of CarMax, Carvana, auto lenders, CarEdge. The next used car we do, we need to find the exact same. I mean, there's no 2 used cars are exactly the same, but very close spec at CarMax and Carvana, and just put it all side by side and see which one you got the best deal. Did you get the best deal using our car buying service, or did you get the best deal paying the additional profit that they charge for being no hassle, no haggle
And
car
and
dealers?
and may I say, the whole concept behind the CarEdge Concierge, we are not sitting here saying this is going to be the absolute best, lowest possible price you're going to pay. Okay, because we can't guarantee that. There will always be some dealer that will beat a deal by $5, $10, $50, whatever it is. What we are saying is we are going to take all the hassle out of buying that car, all the nonsense that we've grown accustomed to with buying a car, sourcing the car, negotiating the price, making sure all the paperwork is what it's supposed to be, getting it delivered. That's everything we handle. And you don't have to do that. And so for some people, that a $999 charge is a relative bargain, an absolute bargain, because it's not a time suck for them anymore. It's a time suck for us. So if you value your time more than you value having to go hammer and tong with a dealership, then the concierge service makes sense. If your time has no value, go out there, knock yourself the hell out. Go fight with the salesman and the closer and the sales manager and the general sales manager. Go spend 15, 18 hours trying to buy a car. Go do it. Otherwise, let us do it for you.
All right, we're going to help Jody one more time. Adams exploits. Thanks, Adam. When I bought my used Pilot, I shopped at Auto Lenders. The price there is the price plus some kind of fees and tags, etc. So there you go. It's a one price. It's another one of those one price places. Okay, folks. Happy Friday. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. CarEdge.com end of our month promotion ends tomorrow, so please take advantage of that. Dad, thank you so much for your time as always. Big Toyota story we will cover on Monday. What's that called? A hook? A lead? What's that called? You got to tune in on Monday. We're going to be talking about a big Toyota story.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. God willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be here Monday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. What? You never heard that?
Tried a new product in my hair today. What do you think?
I like the other product better.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying. I went productless today.
What did you?
Yeah.
Couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, your eyes looking way better.
Oh, much better. Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought I was having a really good hair day.
I didn't say your hair looks bad. I just said I liked the other product better. That's all I was saying. And let's face it, anytime we talk about hair, there's a tad bit of jealousy on that, so stop bringing up hair.
Chloetho, thanks for keeping us on. Zach, have you considered adding insurance partners or comparisons? Would be nice to search for the car price, warranty, and price insurance. Yes, we tried that at one point last year, and we weren't able to save people enough money on insurance to keep it going. So maybe we'll bring it back at some point, Chloetho. Appreciate all the very generous contributions and the thoughtful suggestion. I will have to do some research on where you can find, comparisons for insurance. We used to have it, got rid of it. We shall see.
And I saw a comment from Igor, and you want to know if there's going to be a Saturday live stream. Did you want to
Saturday show? No Saturday show
to the customers, to the audience gently?
No, not interested.
Okay.
So we're good. No show tomorrow night, but maybe we'll be back in the future on Saturdays. That being said, we'll be back on Monday with that big Toyota story, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I love you very much, Dad. Enjoy the beautiful weather today on the East Coast. I'm going to do the same.
Yes, and I love you as well. And I do have a question. Are we doing the photo shoot on Monday?
We are, yeah. I'm going to be back in Ventnor, and we're going to do the photo shoot Monday because your eye's looking better.
It is really getting better. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. Hit the end button, would you?